Hello, everybody. Howdy, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're well. I really do. I'm excited to be back. I hope you're well, wherever, whenever you are. I, of course, am your host, your future favorite pop star, Landyn Zane. And this is, of course, as it will always be, your favorite podcast for the record. I'm glad to be back. I am back in LA. It is exciting to be back. I was in Iowa for a week and a half, in Florida for a week, and we took the last week of the podcast off, so I'm back with a vengeance. I'm excited. I'm very excited to be back. I've had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun in Iowa. I got to see my family. It was just long enough. It was the perfect length of trip to go and see almost everyone I wanted to see while I was in Iowa, and just long enough to be like, okay, I do want to, long enough to remember why I moved to LA in the first place, and like to really help me solidify my motivations of like, I really am glad I moved to LA, because I missed being here way more than I thought I was going to, which is a strange thought, but like, I'm glad to be back, and I'm excited. I started a new song yesterday, and it like, I have like literally, I started working on like 10 tracks when I was in Iowa and Florida, and I love some of them. I started a song last night, and in the span of 36 hours, 24 hours, however long, math, numbers, not my strong suit. It is, oh God, guys, it could be my best song. Like, I haven't been this excited about finishing a song in a while, even since like probably since when I was making Whatever Remains. And I even like Perfume and Searching for You. I love those songs and I'm so proud of them, but this one I'm working on, it feels special. It feels something feels different about it, and I can't wait for it to get 15 streams. But you know, it's about the joy of making the music, and God, am I having fun making it. But anyways, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm back in LA working on stuff. I'm really happy I'm back. It was both good and bad to come back, and like, I had all this free food at my mom's, and I was getting to see all my family and hang out, and I was still working and stuff, but like, come back, boom, rent is due, boom, no money, boom, I'm broke. Like, immediately I'm back in the grind of being in LA. So it is a lot of fun. But also, like, I've been going live on TikTok every few days for like an hour or two, and I want to start doing it like more than that. Try to do every day or two and go do a few hours, because it's a lot of fun, and it helps me like actually talk to people and build more connections with people, which I love. I just love talking to people online, and like, if they become fans of mine or start listening to my music, like, it's cool, but I just like talking to people, so it's a lot of fun. It's another avenue I can do that. I'm just excited. I may be on the verge of another viral TikTok, viral, whatever that means, but I posted one today talking about Good Luck Babe and Chappell Roan and how I was wrong, and that, like, you can go to my TikTok and you can watch it if you care. But it's like, I posted it at like 6 o'clock, and it's at like 40,000 views in a few hours. And it's like, and that's like it during the night, which is not when my TikToks do well. My TikToks usually do well during like early afternoon until like evening. So I don't know, who knows what could happen tomorrow. Today, when you're watching, go look at my TikTok and see if it's blown up by now. Hopefully it has. We'll cross our fingers. But yeah, and like, that brings into what I wanted to talk about in the first place. Of part of this episode is like, I'm shockingly obsessed with Chappell Roan. I've really started getting into her. I know, like, I've talked about her before multiple times, but like, her music, mainly Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess and then Good Luck Babe, is so incredible. And like, I've been seeing clips of her performing live and stuff. I don't know how to describe how excited I am to see where she goes in her career. She's so talented, and every time I go back and listen to that album, one of the songs that I had lower in my ranking moves up. And there's only 14. I think there's 14 songs on that album, and every song can't be number one. So that proves how good that album is. I'm really excited. about her and her music. And also, like, I was so wrong about Chappell Roan. I was so wrong. Like, literally on my Spotify for Artists page, the fans also like, so literally, Spotify was telling me that my fans of my music also like Chappell Roan, and I still didn't want to get into her. I still didn't want to listen to her music. I was like, no, I don't think it's for me. I'm a moron. I'm an idiot. Come on. It is phenomenal. It is some of the best pop music I've heard in a long, long time. It is a great... The beginning of this year, I was pretty scared for pop music of like, last year was good, but it wasn't as good as 2022. And like, it didn't seem like there was that much I was looking forward to this year. But then like, we got hit with some bangers. Taylor Swift's new album was great. Dua Lipa's album, Billie Eilish, the Billie Eilish album. Every time I go back to it, I'm like, fuck me. How did they do this? And then like, I mean, Chappell Roan was last year, but really getting into Chappell Roan this year. And then Good Luck Babe came out this year too, so that counts. Like, how incredible do you have to be? I don't know where I was going with that. I totally, like, I looked at my phone and my brain just like shit the bed. Like, I just started saying words that I thought would come together and make a sentence that made sense, and it just didn't. What was I trying to say? Oh, this year is really shaping up to be like one of the best years for pop music I've in my life, if it keeps going the way it's going. And like the new Gracie Abrams album coming out, I think it comes out at the end of this month now that it's June. I think it's the 21st. Like, God, this really is a great year for pop music. And like I've said before, the women are killing it. The women are just crushing. And like, I want to be one of the guys that is like, all right, the ladies are crushing it, but the guys are putting some effort in too. I want to like make it like a full frontal, like widespread, I want every single avenue of pop music, every subgenre, every like performance style, everything. I want every part of it to be pushing things forward. I don't want a single part of pop music to be stagnant. And I know the way that I can do that as an artist is that I can build something that forces every other artist to be like, all right, we got to kick it up a notch. We got to like nut up or shut up at this point. So that's my goal. And at this point, I always say like, I got to do it like the ladies because they're crushing. Oh, I got this new ice cube maker. This new ice cube thing. It makes little crushed ice, little crushed cubies. Like the Sonic ice. It's not as good as the Sonic ice, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Oh. What was I? Oh, I know. Good Luck Babe. No. I already talked about that. Close to You. Close to You by Gracie Abrams. So she did the like order the 7-inch LP, like the single LP, and Risk was on one side and Close to You was on the other side. People started getting those. So there's this video on TikTok that is literally, it's like 4 minutes long. It's just a full video of Close to You playing on the speakers, like the full song. I've listened to it probably 300,000 times. It is so good. It is such a good song. And I'm not a big Lorde guy. She's not my favorite. I think Melodrama is incredible. I have not listened to Solar Power. I will admit that. And I have been meaning to like listen to that album. And I also want to listen to Melodrama again. But it's giving Lorde. It's giving Green Light. Like, or Supercut. It's just so good. And I like Gracie Abrams I've said it before and I'll say it again until the day I meet her. I don't understand how someone can be that talented. And Chappell Roan is a different kind of talent for me. She is more of a pop talent. Gracie Abrams is a songwriter talent. And those are two distinct things for me. I don't know if that makes sense. And also, let's keep in mind that while I'm recording this, it is almost 1 a.m. and I'm losing my mind and I'm on caffeine. If this doesn't make sense, I'm also like trying to keep the energy up, but I'm like, hoorah, woo-wee. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Wait, no. That's new. I mean, that's not new. That's normal for me. But what was I saying? Have I been rambling? I think I have. Close to You. It's incredible. I literally think I've listened to that TikTok all the way through just to listen to the song 400 million thousand times. It's so good. It's so, like, it's definitely like the poppiest thing she's made, other than maybe a few other songs. Like, it's definitely the poppiest thing she made, especially in like synth pop. But it's fucking amazing. And I cannot wait for that entire album to come out. And like, I really don't have much else to say. Like, if I'm not careful, this podcast is just going to turn into me like talking about like 5 artists repeatedly. Like, every episode is just going to be, what can I say new about Chappell Roan, Billie Eilish, Gracie Abrams? Right now, those are the 3 that I'm thinking about and really listening to a lot. And also like Dua Lipa, Taylor Swift, 1975. Like, how much can I talk about those artists? And then like also going back and talking about like Elton John and Billy Joel and Tears for Fears. Eventually people are going to get tired of that. So we're going to not do that. But let me tell you, the person I will become when Gracie Abrams releases Close to You and The Secret of Us is not a person that is going to be tolerable to be around. And I'm okay with that because I'm a musician and I think I can just use that as an excuse to be obsessed with that album. And in all honesty, I'm okay with that. But let me see. Oh, another notch in my belt that's really cool. My man Dayglow, Sloane Struble, Mr. Stroobs, Strooby Woobies, Sloany Wonies, Sloany Wony Strooby Woobies, Dayglow. Not the Taylor Swift song. Wait. No, that's Daylight. Never mind. Mr. Dayglow did indubitably indeed comment on my TikTok I posted about him, talking about how much I loved him. And that is cool. That does make me happy to know that in some breath, one of my idols knows I exist, which is really cool to think about. It's really weird. But also, like, he also has no idea who I am. But it's still, like, really, really cool to know that, like, I talked about this when I was in Iowa with my family, of, like, the more this grows and the more I build the podcast and, like, start releasing more, the more I keep releasing music and, like, start building people, an audience that's really listening to my music and involved in everything, like, eventually I'm going to get to meet some of my idols and the people I just, like, gush about and study. Like, the idea that one day I'm going to get to meet, like, Billie Eilish, somebody who, like, I religiously study how she makes music and how she writes and how Phineas produces and how they work together. Like, the idea that one day I could get to meet them and I'm going to have to be like, oh yeah, hello, nice to meet you. I don't know nothing. I don't know anything about you. I don't know, like, how you sit down and write and what your process is and what your routine is and everything, because I want to be able to do what you do. And that's across the board of all my favorite artists right now, and even of the past. The idea that one day I'm going to get to, like, meet them and have conversations with these people is strange. And, like, I talked about some celebrity experiences I've had being in LA with my family when I was in Iowa. And it is crazy how normal some of it has become, of, like, I was present in this moment. Or, like, the one I always tell people that people think is cool is that clip of, what's her name? I was at the Lisa Frankenstein premiere, and the clip where, is it Cole Sprouse and I always forget which one it is. Cole Sprouse and wife? Is it that? Or is it... No, it's the other one. Dylan. Yes. So I was at the Lisa Frankenstein premiere, and Dylan and Barbara Palvin show up. Dylan Sprouse and Barbara Palvin. And the clip where she's like, and I'm Miss Sprouse or whatever she says, I was there for that. And whenever I tell my family that, of like young people that know that clip, they freak out because it is a cool thing. And like, I have a bunch of those experiences. That's always the one I go to because it is funny. But like, I don't know. I'm just, the idea that one day, and I already said this, but like the idea that I might meet, the idea that one day I'm going to meet Harry Styles or Taylor Swift or Olivia Rodrigo or like my idols, Elton John. I've said it before and I'll say it again. The day I meet Elton John is the day I die. If I really sit and think about, like, because the way my brain works too is I can put myself in that situation and I can get my brain to imagine a potential situation in which I truly would meet him, and I will sit here and break down and cry and freak out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really, really don't. But I'm just like, I just love being in LA and doing this. I'm so happy that I get the opportunity to do this, even if at the end of the day it doesn't work, but I know it will. Because like, I love doing this so much that it's really, truly the only thing I do. That's like the only thing I do is I work on some part of moving my career forward all the time. I'm excited. I love being here. All right, we need to move on. What do I have next? I know. So when I work, I'll sit here and I'll just work, do my remote job, and I'll put on movies and stuff. And one thing I started watching right before my trip to Iowa, and then I'm still like wrapping up, is I started watching White Collar again, which I watched when I was like in early high school, late middle school. I forgot how good this show is. I forgot how good White Collar is. It is so good. All the characters, like Neil Caffrey. I think any man that wants to be the certain, like, very cleaned up, very dapper look, Neil Caffrey is the ideal man to base all of that off of. He's so suave and so charismatic, but he's also such a nice guy and like so charming and like, I don't know. It amazes me how charismatic he is. And I know it's fiction. I'm aware it's fiction, but also like every time I go out now, I'm like, yes, nice to meet you, Landyn Zane. Nice to meet you. I just like pop my shoulders and try to act like I'm Neil Caffrey. I'm like, nice to meet you. Flash him a smile, give him a wink. Does it work? No. Actually, it does kind of work sometimes, but I'm like, in my head it works, but I'm like, hi. And that's usually probably what it looks like in real life. But also, like, the writing on that show is awesome. The humor is great. The characters and the love stories and the way everything weaves together. There's definitely plot holes and stuff, but like, it's such a good show. It is such a good show. And the funny thing is, I looked it up. Oh God, who's the actor that plays him? The thing I love the most is that of all the TV shows I've ever watched, if I had to tell you the two most charming, womanizing men, Neil isn't exactly that type of character, but he's close. The two characters that in all of TV that I've ever seen that are the most suave and charismatic at pulling women, Barney Stinson, he's a douchebag and womanizer, but in the realm, and Neil Caffrey. Barney Stinson is played by Neil Patrick Harris, who is gay. Neil Caffrey is played by Matt Bomer, who is gay, which I find hysterical. I don't know what it is. There's got to be something there. I don't know what, but it does make me laugh. Every time I watch How I Met Your Mother too, I'm like, that man. It also helps like actually make it kind of okay with how horrible Barney treats some of these men. You're like, well, in real life, this guy's gay, so he's not doing it. But it does make me laugh. And also, like Neil, Barney, after a while, you're like, he's a caricature of himself. A caricature? How the fuck do you caricature? I don't think that's a word. I don't think anyone can actually pronounce that. Anyways, here's a caricature of himself. Neil Caffrey, especially with how good the acting is, he is such a character that you get pulled into and convinced that he is himself. So, like, it's impressive how well Matt Bomer acts as Neil Caffrey. And there's probably stories behind all of, like, how they made that show and stuff, but it's a phenomenal show. And, like, Mozzie, Peter, Elizabeth, all the acting and the writing and the character arcs. And I'm like, I'm on the season. Oh, I don't know if I want to say spoilers because I'm pretty far in the show. Nah, I won't say spoilers, but like the character arcs keep building and uncovering stuff in really interesting ways. It's just a really, really great show. It's a really, really great show. I love it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's called White Collar. White Collar? I don't know what accent I'm doing, but if you haven't seen it, it's called White Collar. And I do. Oh my gosh. Have you guys seen the TikTok of the Irish kids? The like this drum and bass song that these Irish kids sang and like made in like they're like 8. I don't even know if they're that old. And it is one of the best songs I've ever heard. It is such a vibe. It literally, like I saw a TikTok of like this coffee shop was like, we put it on loop. They're literally like, we put the song on loop during rush and we just bang it out. We're like when I was working at the movie theater, when I was a server at the dine-in movie theater, and I was literally, it was like me and one person, and in the span of a half hour, we would see like 120 people take all their orders. If they put that song on during the movie trailers, or like we had headphones in and listened to that, it would have been nothing. And I was good at that job. If I would have been listening to those little Irish kids singing their drum and bass jig while I was taking 120 orders, money. And I was already good, but I would have done it in 5 minutes. Just doing one of these. And then now they're like performing it on like some Irish radio station that probably 12 people listen to. But I saw a TikTok clip of it and it's got like 150,000 likes. Like these kids are doing it. Respect to the children. I give them all the praise in the world. I just spit. All right. What was next? Anyways, White Collar. Yeah. If you want something to watch, like a throwback, quote unquote throwback show, because this came out in like 2008 or 9 is when it started. Go watch White Collar. It's a phenomenal show. It's very like Suits, but I like White Collar more than I like Suits, which I feel like most people don't. Let's see. Oh, so the other thing that I've been watching a lot of, especially lately since I was in Iowa, and now that I've been back and working a lot, the other thing I've been watching a lot of is Rhett and Link and like Good Mythical Morning and Good Mythical More. And then like some of their old music videos and vlogs and stuff. I forgot how much I love Good Mythical Morning. Rhett and Link really, like, it's crazy. Now that I'm 21 years old. But like if I look back at when I started watching Rhett and Link, like I was trying to think about it of like, oh, it was probably only 3 or 4 years ago. It was like 10 years ago I started watching Rhett and Link. 10 years ago. I've been watching them for a decade, and I think it's been over a decade. I might have been 10. Like how long ago? I can tell you right now how long it's been. I can tell you the first video I watched of theirs. All right, it has been 10 years. The first video I ever saw of theirs was the It's My Belly Button song, which was 2014, April of 2014. So it really has been almost 10 years. It was either that or it was the, oh my gosh. It was like, you know how long I've been watching Rhett and Link and Good Mythical Morning? I remember when Link changed his haircut and I stopped watching the show. It's been that long. Link changed his haircut 8 years ago. And I remember that like it was yesterday. Like in retaliation of him changing his haircut, as like a 12, 13-year-old, I stopped watching the show. Because I was like, I will not have it. His hair is it. He can't change. And that was like 8 years ago. And since then, I've been like, I don't give a shit. I love the show. Like, they shaped my sense of humor. T-shirt war. That's the other one. Let's see. The T-shirt war was 14 years ago. So I definitely saw that one before. So we'll say 12 years since I really started regularly watching them. Like 10 years to be watching one duo like eat stupid shit and gag and make fart and penis jokes on the internet. It really does shape your sense of humor, especially when that 10 years is like your early, like a preteen to 21 years old. Like, other than a few people, celebrities, musicians, comedians, like especially my sense of humor, other than family members, friends, and Robin Williams, and probably a few other people, Rhett and Link really did shape my sense of humor in a big way growing up. And it has carried through then until now. Like they really carried it through of like how dumb some of the jokes I make are, how like crazy and sporadic some of the stuff I do. Yeah, like it, and they're still killing it. Like, I know a lot of people that grew up with them have stopped watching them, but they're like, other than a few things, they're my comfort show. Like I saw, there's this thing of like, who else would I eat breakfast and lunch with if not Rhett and Link? Which is true. Like if I'm gonna eat, if I'm having a meal, if I'm sitting down while I'm working, or if I'm sitting down and I'm eating a Sammy, I'm eating a Sammy Witch, I'm eating a Sammy Witch, I'm eating a little Sammy, I'm eating a Sam. I'm eating a Sam and some chips, some chippy whips. What else am I gonna watch if not Rhett and Link? I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna eat my turkey sandwich with mayo and mustard and some chippy whips, and I'm gonna watch two grown men on the internet eat penis. And I'm gonna laugh. And there's really nothing else I want to watch while I eat my Sammy Witch than two grown men eat penis and crickets and bugs and also delicious food that I want to eat while I laugh and I eat chips. And I truly have nothing else to say about that other than like, I wouldn't have it any other way. And I don't think I ever will want to. I have a feeling I'm going to be 40. I'm going to be 45. YouTube is not going to be a thing. I'm going to have to go on the Wayback Machine, pull up old Rhett and Link, Good Mythical Morning, and Good Mythical More videos. And I'm going to be 45 eating the 3D printed plutonium cereal made out of cockroaches in 3D printed material that they also used to make my house. And I'm going to be watching them in their 60s or 70s do the same thing. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Because, like, who else on the internet has been that there? I think that's the thing about the internet and for Rhett and Link. No YouTube channel in the history of the internet has been as consistent and as present in the lives of a generation growing up than Rhett and Link have with Good Mythical More and with Good Mythical Morning and Good Mythical More. Like, and then everything else they've done. Throughout everything, every other experiment and project they've done, they've still had Good Mythical Morning and Good Mythical More, and even during their breaks. And I know some people at some points are like, they've fallen off, they've done this, but they've done something that no other channel or brand on the internet has done. Oh gosh. Sorry. I apologize. I'm tired. they've been present in the adolescence. They've been the one for a lot of people online and in general. They have been one of the most dominant presences in the growing up of a generation, and they're still doing it. I guarantee you, there are still young kids that watch this show that are 13 right now, and if they keep making Good Mythical Morning like they have been, like I think they will continue, when these kids are 18, 19, 20, they've grown up just like I did. I was 10 or 11 years old when I started watching Rhett and Link, and now I'm 21. And like I can successfully tell you, in my life, one of the most consistent presences of entertainment and escapism has been Rhett and Link. And that is something that like is very few entertainers and creators can say for their brand and their lives, that they've been that consistent. Because there's one thing of like escapism. I think it's another reason why Taylor Swift is also so big, is like being there for somebody as a form of escapism is one of the greatest privileges an entertainer can have for somebody. It is one of the reasons I want to be an entertainer, is to bring people escapism and joy away from life like I've been given in my life. I want to do that for other people, and I love being creative, so it works perfectly. But there is something to being able to do that consistently for an extended period of time, like Taylor Swift has done. Taylor Swift has been putting out music since she was 15 or 16, and she has been consistently releasing music, especially in the past 5-6 years, like a ridiculous amount. She's been doing that for so long and so consistently that like a generation has grown up with her and her music, and now everyone is so devoted to her because her fans know, and I'm a Swiftie, so like me included, they know that she is going to show up for them in some way because she has been so consistent. And I think in terms of long-term success and like maintaining a career, there is something to say about that as an entertainer. And Rhett and Link have nailed that to such perfection because they've also been one of the few presences online that has proven that they have not been really changed by everything that has, all the success that has followed everything they've done. Obviously, they've changed because they're people, but they've also shown that they're not assholes like Hollywood and moving to California and doing all this stuff does to most people that get that level of success. They've stayed humble, and they've stayed genuine to themselves. And like, I have a list of bucket list items that I actually haven't looked at it recently. I should go back to it. But being on Good Mythical Morning is one of those things of like, one of the things that I think is going to, that like being able to tell my 13-year-old self that like, Landyn, you were a guest on Good Mythical Morning. Being able to go back in time and tell my 13-year-old self, he would cry. He would be so overwhelmed with emotion, like he wouldn't know what to do. And it, like the fact that I very, very, very well could get the opportunity to do that in my career is like, fuck, man. It is really, really cool. It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. Life's crazy, man. Like I was thinking about this when I was in Iowa of like, now we're just going to get like introspective. When I was in Iowa, I was thinking a lot about the one reason I like going back to Iowa. And even when I lived in Texas, I liked doing this of like going back to Iowa and being around the high school I graduated from and like being able to really put myself in the life that I lived while I lived there during high school and middle school. It's a very good reminder of like how far I've come and how much I've changed and how proud of myself I am, of how much I've grown and really, I've really started to become the person I've always wanted to be, which like the idea of growing into somebody that you're 11, 12, 13, 10, however old, your young child self would be proud of It's something really, really fulfilling that I think isn't talked about a lot, of like honoring honoring and becoming the person that you would have wanted to be when you were young, before you got weathered and hardened by the world, trying to become that person and grow into that person and to honor your young self. It's something I've heard people talk about, but it's a very strange and emotional and fulfilling feeling to know that you're on your way there, when you can really stand and think about where you were 5, 10, 2, however long ago, years ago. And like being back in Iowa, it really like, I'm like, I really am very, very happy that I get the chance to go back, and I miss my family so much sometimes. So much. And the day I can afford to travel and see them more often and still afford to live in LA, I will. Like, if it's between me doing the fancy, stupid LA shit and like going to see my family for a few days, I can tell you I will be going to see my family because I miss them so much sometimes. But I'm so happy I moved to LA because even the opportunity to try this and to chase music and to really try to have a career in entertainment and music, it is something that, like, if I could tell my 14-year-old self, literally, like, if you would have asked me at 14, this is the thought I was thinking about. So, and it hit me of like an epiphany. I didn't even have it in therapy, but it hit me like something that an epiphany I would have in therapy of like, when I was young, the prevailing thought for as long as I can remember was, I can't wait to get out of here. Living in Iowa, the most common thought in my head was, I cannot wait to get out of here and start my own thing and do what I want to do. Because growing up in Iowa and wanting to be in entertainment and be creative for my entire life, and then growing up in Iowa and everything is fucking flat and empty and there's nothing, it's so demotivating and so like it sucks the wind out of your sails immediately, of like, there's no way I could ever have a life here in which I'm doing the creative and entertaining things I want to do. So for my entire life, I had this idea in my head of, I can't wait to get out of here. I don't know if I've talked about this before. I don't think I have in a past episode. And even when I lived in Texas, I kind of had that. And then I moved to LA. And it's not like LA is perfect, but I haven't had that thought here. I still have the thoughts of like, I miss my family. But the thing in my head the thought that I had for 21 years, the most common thought in my head was, I can't wait to get out of here. I don't have that thought anymore. And as hard as being in LA is, and how much fucking work it is sometimes, and how like much bullshit I have to deal with and like just try and get through, and how much patience I have to have sometimes, the fact that like I don't have that thought, and that alone, if you would have gone to like 14-year-old Landyn and been like, hey, this thing you think you're never going to get to do, this idea you have in your head of like just wanting to run away and like become an entertainer, like literally like run away and join the circus type shit. Obviously not join the circus, but like become an entertainer. If you would have told me at 14, like, Landyn, you're going to be 21, and you think at 14, 21 seems like it's forever. It's so far away. But like, Landyn, you're going to be 21 years old, and you're going to pack up everything you own, and you're going to have no money, and you're going to move to Los Angeles, and you're going to chase the dream of trying to become a pop star and become an entertainer. If you would have told me that at 14, I would have been so proud of myself for doing that And like, obviously at 14 was like, I'm famous. Everyone knows who I am. And like, that's clearly not what's going on right now. But if you would have told me that, I would have been so happy and so proud of myself that I actually did that. The thing that I never thought in my head I was going to get to do because of where I lived and just like how I felt at 14 and at whatever age. It feels really good to know that I'm honoring that past version of myself and that I still want to do it so deeply in my bones. I want to be creative and be an entertainer. It's just, there's no feeling like it there are few feelings more fulfilling than chasing your dreams and knowing you're in the place doing the thing that you want to do. Not even that it's going well. Not even that it's easy or that it's really going the way you want it to go. Just the fact that I'm getting the chance to do it is enough for me. And like, I don't know. It is a strange feeling. And for like, it literally, like, every time I think about it, it blows me away because I'm waiting for the feeling to come back of like, I can't wait to get out of here. And it hasn't. And I felt it creep back in when I was in Iowa. Just a little bit. I sort of got back in touch with that feeling. And then coming back to LA and it being gone again of like, I don't know. I don't know why this is getting so introspective and emotional for no reason. It's probably because it's past 1 a.m. and I'm just like in my feels. But like, fuck, man. Growing up is crazy. It is a weird thing. And growing up and like really like trying to get your shit together, it's really hard, man. It's so hard. And like trying to really honor yourself and like do everything you can to make yourself happy and to chase your dreams and like not listen to what anybody thinks and just like do it. It's fucking hard. It's so hard. But it really, I'm so proud of myself. And not like boosting my own ego, like look at me. Just like, I can't believe that I'm doing what I want to. Even here, even doing this, sometimes I feel like I have to pinch myself and be like, this is it, Landyn. The thing you've waited for and you've wanted to do your entire life, you're doing. And it feels better than I could have ever imagined. And like, I meet a lot of people that are trying to do music, and not obviously. I don't think I've ever met anybody else in LA that has actively told me they want to be one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. Because it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous thing to tell people. But I meet a lot of people who are like, I want to be really successful. I want to do this in music, and I want to be very successful in this, or entertainment, or acting, or anything. And I've never met anyone. Or that maybe that's not true. But off the top of my head, I've met very few people, I'll say, that have simply just said, I'm grateful for the opportunity to just do it. Not that it's going well, not that I'm successful, but the fact that I just get to do it, to chase my dreams. I get the opportunity to try is enough. And for me, that's enough. And not like I'm not like I'm giving up. Like I'm literally working my fucking dick off to get this and to do everything I can to get what I want. But like, that's kind of how I know I'm going to be okay and be successful. Is like, no one loves this as much as I do. No one loves I can absolutely tell you this with 100% certainty. No one I've met in LA and music that is an artist or anything around it has told me they love their lack of success as much as I love my lack of success. I love that I'm not successful. Of course I want to be successful. If I could be successful tomorrow, I would. Because that would give me the opportunity to travel and see my family and get to do like the things I want to with more resolve and more dedication and not have to worry about like working and stuff other than working on my career specifically. But I love that I'm not successful because I just love I love the grind of working towards the success. And I don't think I've met anyone that has shared those feelings with me. And that's how I know I'm going to be okay. Because any entertainer or athlete or anything you read about, like before they were successful, all they were doing was focusing on their craft of what they wanted to do. Not because the only thing they were focused on was success, but because they simply loved what they were doing. And that's how I feel about music and being creative and being an entertainer. And like the second I can afford to, and I have like money I can actually like not immediately put into savings or pay bills towards, the second I can, it's like singing lessons, dancing lessons, like guitar, piano, bass lessons to like perfect all of it as a performer. And then like personal training, dieting, like I'm going to become like, if in my head right now, I think I'm devoted to becoming a pop star and like becoming the best artist that the world has ever seen. When I have money coming in and I can afford to pay other people to make me better at the things that I'm not, I'm going to become a monster. Not like an asshole, but like I'm going to become so relentless at practicing to become the best I possibly can be at every aspect of the craft I want to. Like producing, I think I'm a really, really, really good producer now. But like instruments, dancing, singing, like being able to fully upgrade my wardrobe the way I want to, all of it. I don't know. I can almost feel myself being emotional about it. Of like, I'm so excited, man. I'm so excited, guys. And I don't know what train, or I don't know what stop of the train we got off of, like of Sentimental Town is the stop we got off of, but that's where we've landed. And like, this comes out in 3 hours, this podcast. So you're getting it like about as fresh as it possibly can be. Excuse me. Yeah. Oh, I yawned and I burped and I'm all over the place. And I'm tired. So like, did I have other stuff written down to talk about? I did. I had other stuff to talk about. But I think we're gonna wrap up this therapy session where I almost cried. We're gonna wrap it up. We had fun and I almost cried. So that's actually probably a standard podcast episode for me, especially when I start talking about life. I just get emotional. So I'm a bitch. But yeah, I think we're going to go. And by we, I mean the royal we, me. But I really I'm happy and I'm grateful for y'all. And I can't wait to see where this goes, however long it takes. But also, if y'all want to be part of the podcast, remember, DM me questions and topics and stuff you want me to talk about. Because every Thursday I do a Q&A episode of the pod. And you could be a part of it and you'll get a little shout out from me. And you'll be in the clips and stuff too. So, thank you. But yeah. Alrighty, y'all. As always, I'm going to go. But I have been your favorite future pop star, Landyn Zane. And this is, as it will always be, for the record. Have a good night, good day, good whenever. Bye.